Blog Talk Radio.
Warning, the following program may include profane language, controversial viewpoints, and perspectives on the true nature of reality so far removed from the status quo, they'll make your head spin like a top. Young children, corporate executives, and religious fundamentalists should turn away now. Good evening, fellow Earthlings. Welcome to a special Leap Day episode of Extraordinary Year, the online show that puts everyday people like you with questions about 2012 on the road to understanding. I'm your host, Tim Bravo, and I'm grateful you've chosen to join us tonight. 295 days until December 21st, 2012. Also joining us tonight is my beautiful wife, Monica. Monica, say hello.
Hello.
There she is. Because this episode happens to fall on Leap Day in such a particularly auspicious year, we're dubbing this episode 2012 Leap Year. In truth, those who follow Ascension Theory believe 2012 will indeed prove to be just that, the year our species and planetary civilization takes a giant leap into a world beyond the very imaginations by which it is created. On the show tonight, WikiLeaks gets a gift from Anonymous that tips Julian Assange off to secret plans the U.S. has to charge him, the slew of global bank resignations that mainstream media has more or less ignored, the alleged arrest and release of Treasury Secretary and former president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank, Tim Geithner, and how he's supposedly cooperating with the White Hats to bring down even bigger fish. We're going to talk about what all these changes in the leadership of global society mean for you. We're going to talk about how you can actually help these positive changes move along faster. Yes, you can help. We'll tell you how. We'll have the show of the week and talk about UFO sightings and tell you about some coming changes to the show that could make our live listeners especially happy. All this tonight, as well as your questions and comments live at 858-956-2147. And remember, you can post questions and talk amongst yourselves in our chat room on the episode page. Okay, so first time of business, WikiLeaks and Stratfor. WikiLeaks has pretty much exhausted the cache of secret files that made it famous, basically. They've released everything pretty much, and all of a sudden, Anonymous gives them this gift of thousands of emails that they supposedly hacked from a Texas-based private intelligence firm called Stratfor. And this Stratfor company apparently has big connections with major military industrial corporations like Raytheon and Northrop Grumman. They've got big connections within the United States government intelligence apparatus. So they've got access to a lot of very sensitive information and might even represent a sort of privatization of our intelligence. So, no corporate interest in intelligence, huh? Anyway, one of the things Julian Assange learned from these emails is the United States has drawn up secret plans to charge him. So they kind of released that with Sydney Morning Herald in Australia, a paper in Australia. This is a mainstream media paper, and WikiLeaks and the Sydney Morning Herald have formed what they call, quote, an investigative partnership with WikiLeaks, whatever that means. But I assume, investigative partnership means that WikiLeaks is going to get good stuff, and then the Sydney Morning Herald says they're going to print it. So, I'm guessing that's what that means. And I think starting now, you're going to start to see the good people in the mass media finally get the balls to call out the man, finally get the guts to present stories that you wouldn't see, not bury stories that they would have before, because they know that a lot is changing. They know that these big guys are all going down, and they won't be able to stop the truth from coming out anymore. They're not going to be able to stop it. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about massive resignations on the global scale in banking. Last week we talked about a lot of resignations from politicians and bankers, including Germany's President Christian Wolff. But the big story this last week, since that last episode, has been bankers. Bankers have been dropping in droves. And you're not going to hear about this in the media, or it's out there. There's evidence of it, but it's not making the front page, and the talk shows aren't talking about it, and you're not hearing about it on MSNBC or anything like that. Nobody's really talking about it, but they're out there. There are news articles out there, and they've been collated by people, and we're talking across the globe, 60 just in the month of February. I'm talking 60 biggies in banks, heads of banks and things like that, just in the month of February. So really the biggest news along the avenue of arrests and resignations that will be the start of totally changing our society. Benjamin Fulford this past Monday came out claiming that he had good information that said Timothy Geithner had been arrested by New York police and released. And the word on the underground is that he was singing like a bird, that he's cooperating with white hats, and I believe that his office got a call and would neither confirm nor deny it. And so they have not yet confirmed nor denied that it happened, which in and of itself, they didn't just flatly deny it. It's interesting. But if it's true, then that's a very big fish. He's Timothy fucking Geithner, dude. If it's true, that is a very big fish. And if he is actually out there and is surrounded by protection and is cooperating with white hats and is going to play a part in bringing change and truth to the people of Earth and get rid of a lot of even bigger fish, because that's basically what he's doing. He's turning coat on bigger fish. And if you don't think they're a bigger fish than Timothy Geithner, I got news for you. There are people, we don't know their names, and they're really pulling the strings. But you're going to get a lot closer to the top of the pyramid if you start closer to the top, and Timothy Geithner's pretty far up. So that's a pretty big deal. And, aside from that being a big deal, there's a big list of people who have been resigning the last few months, especially this month. Big numbers, 60 in 1 month across the globe. And we're talking including the head of the World Bank, Robert Zoellick, whose signature is on a leaked World Bank document showing abundance funds that I saw in the quintillions. Did I see with my own two eyes? No, but I saw a photograph of it. And the details in these documents, I'm serious, they show abundance funds. They show funds under individuals, and the numbers in these funds are ridiculous. They're literally quintillions. I had to, really think about it. When you get that many zeros, what exactly is that? And I'm pretty sure I was looking at quintillions. And not in just one account, in multiple accounts. Multiple accounts having multiple quintillions. Legal documents from the World Bank, signed by Robert Zoellick, who then subsequently steps down. The names on these accounts, two of them I saw, one was White Spirit Boy, and another that I saw was Red Dragon Family. And if you follow the work of Ben Fulford, who brought us the news of Geithner's arrest to begin with. You know about the Red Dragon family. You know about the Dragon families in Asia who have been working on that side of the planet, part of the White Hats. It's all a global group of people who are just on a human basis working to overthrow the power structure that exists on this planet. And interestingly, that name pops up in World Bank documents. One of the big falls this month alone, the CEO of Goldman Sachs is going to be pushed out by summer. That news came down. So we're talking the CEO of Goldman Sachs, Robert Zoellick, the head of the World Bank, and heads of banks around the world, in Africa, in Japan, in India, Latin America, China, New Zealand, the United States, Germany, Arab countries like Bahrain and Iran, the UK, around the world. People have been dropping like flies, but nobody's talking about it. But the evidence is there in, mainstream industry rags here and there. But, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for you, the listener, the everyday person, the everyday American or Canadian or, wherever you are and you're listening? What do these changes mean for you? These arrests, these resignations. Basically, they mean you no longer need to fear the New World Order. You can see it falling in front of your eyes. The Illuminati, the Dark Cabal, whatever you want to call them. They've got a million names and they're all the same thing. And their grip is they're prying the fingers off as we speak. So you don't need to be afraid of that anymore. And any sort of fear of police state crackdown, put that out of your head. It's not going to happen, and we have better things to do with our time and with our thoughts. So, just don't give it your energy. Just that thought creeps in your head. It's like, whatever, not going to happen. Anyway, I would say focus instead on hope, because we need to be preparing ourselves and each other, others, for ascension, because that's what this whole 2012 thing is all about. I'll say it time and I'll say it again. Ascension is what this whole thing is about. We're moving into an area of space where, the change is not going to be something we can, no human can stop what's coming. No human can stop what's coming. Nobody can stop what's coming. So, it offers an opportunity for spiritual work, and that's what these arrests mean. It's, that soon, is the time that instead of worrying about what they're up to, we just watch them fall and work on ourselves. Work to incorporate the truth that everything is just one thing, that all is one. Incorporate that into your understanding of reality. That then you have to live your life accordingly. You incorporate that truth, that soul truth that deep down that everything is one, or that if you don't know, approach life as though you believe it. Because once you understand how reality works, you can use that, and then you'll start to see. Seek and you shall find, brothers and sisters. And I'm here as I've been seeking that truth for going on 20 years, and I'm just starting to really get it. And it's the same thing I've basically understood the whole way along. It just clicks now. Now I understand how it works. And the law of one. I would recommend you look into the law of one, because that's basically the whole thing, is you live according to what you know about reality. And what you know about reality is that everything is one thing. It's tough for many of us to get past the idea that we're not separate from anyone else, that we're not better than anyone else. And these big changes mean that we can start thinking about ways that we can reshape our society completely without these people telling us what we have to believe and what we can do, what we can't do. Who's going to have what. We as a society move away from competition with each other, because for one person to win, somebody has to lose, which means that, if everything is all part of one thing, then you're connected to it, and you're basically making yourself lose. So if we work toward cooperation with each other, together, we can make a better world that works for everyone. Win, not win-lose. And that's just smarter as a society. That's just smarter as a civilization. It's just smarter as a species. So when you're busy working to make everyone else's life as good as you'd want yours to be, everyone else is working to make your life as good as they'd want for themselves. And the most immediate benefit the world will receive once every tentacle of this dark cabal has been burned out of our civilization, it's free energy. Number one, it will turn how our civilization works on its head, because we won't need to be paying for energy. What would you do if you didn't have to pay for gas or electricity or, anything like that? It just you just had a little machine that pulled it out of the ether, which is literally what happens with good free energy devices that we're going to get, that have been out there and that have been suppressed. And that's going to end, because there's nobody that will keep that from humanity any longer. No one's going to keep it for themselves. Everybody's going to have it, because it's what you'd want for yourself. And that's going to make life a lot easier and cheaper for everyone. For the people in the bush, you can't make but a few cents a day, and they're not even thinking about having lights. Well, guess what? They can have them. And we would give that to them, because we would give that to ourselves. And once all this free energy and all these technologies that have been available to us for decades, if not a century, if not more, who knows? That once we have all that stuff, close on the heels of these changes are going to be contact with our off-world friends. And then the release of abundance funds that, there's actually evidence of from all sorts of legal documents. Eventually we'll have truth and reconciliation proceedings where all these bad guys march in front of cameras and tell us what they really did and what so-and-so really did for the sake of, the truth of history. They're not going to be able to lie. And, it leads us to knowing the truth about everything. This is the start of that road. What's happening now is going to end up with us getting to know the truth about everything, from 9/11 to the Kennedy assassination, to Roswell, to the secret space program, the truth about Atlantis, and even civilizations before, verification of the ancient astronaut theory, why they came and why they left. It's all going to come out, and we're not going to have to guess and put scraps together of information and evidence between us and try to, get a picture from just the edges of the puzzle. We're not going to have to do that anymore. And then there will probably be no reason for this show. But until then, as long as regular, everyday people out there still need hope and still need understanding and still need answers to questions about 2012, then we're going to be here. What can an everyday person do? How can you help? Because really, what are we waiting for? We expect the the aliens are going to come land and we're going to have contact, and but we have to have disclosure to do that. So we're waiting on disclosure. Well, how's disclosure going to happen when these guys who have been hiding all this stuff from us know that as soon as we find it all out, we're not going to let them do what they've been doing anymore? They've always known that, which is why it was never a possibility. It never will be a possibility. They're never going to actually sit down and do a press conference and say, yeah, we've been working with extraterrestrials for decades, and we've got this technology, and while you've been, busting your ass so that BP can rake in $3 million an hour in 2011, we've been using this stuff for ourselves, and I think maybe you guys want to, yeah, they're going to get, people wouldn't let them keep doing what they've been doing. So, the fact that they're going is going to help us out. But we don't need to wait on disclosure. We don't need to wait on them going, and telling us the truth, because enough of us know the truth is our off-world friends are here. They've been here. A lot of us have seen them with our own eyes. I know I have. And if we can raise awareness of people of how reality actually works, that's how we help the game. Because once you know how your world operates, we create the future together by our thoughts in the present. What we think now is literally creating the future that we come to. And the evidence for that is, we talk about plenty on the show. I actually hope to eventually get some guests on who can talk more to that. I'm not an expert in any one thing that is pertaining to 2012, but I am a student of the 2012 ascension phenomenon, and I've been a student of spirituality since my whole life. And it's all connected because it's all one thing. And once you know that and work within that understanding and realize that everything is just a holographic illusion that we're creating, then you know that you have the power to change it because you made it to begin with. So we can do that. We can do that now. We can do that now. We have that power. You have that power. It's in you. Everybody's got it. Everybody has talents. We talked about this last week. Some people are really good at spiritual stuff, at, taking their will and making things happen. But everybody's got the ability, and everybody can practice it and get better. It's time for the ground crew, us on this planet, to stop talking about American Idol and what Nicki Minaj did on the Grammys. Not that it wasn't bizarre and awesome, but it's not important right now. We need to start talking about what's important. We need to use social media to raise awareness of these arrests and these resignations and the rumors of coming arrests, because that's the big deal. There are big arrests that are coming, and it's going to shock the world. Things are about to change, people. And once these arrests happen, our star family's coming, and they're coming to join us, to be open with us. They've said so. And so we need to get ready for that, and we need to get other people ready for it. And since we know that thought creates reality, we know that every time we tell somebody else, that seed is planted. That concept is planted in their mind for their subconscious to kind of go and check out and say, hey, you need to check that out. So then the idea grows inside of them. Then the learning and the education and the understanding begins to grow inside of them, which becomes a part of the whole group, our whole collective energy and understanding about the world. And every time another person is seeded, that's an opportunity for a plant to spring up. And so it's not our job to convince other people. Our job is just to go out and plant the seeds, and plant the seeds, and plant the seeds with as many people as we can, to bring up the subjects, to get people thinking about it, because if we can get as many people as possible thinking about these things and imagining them happening, you know what's going to happen, and you know what's going to happen sooner. It's already going to happen. We are on the course for that to happen, but we can make it happen faster together and get it over and get it fast and get it behind us so we can get on to the good stuff. We can do it together. So I'm asking you, if you're listening tonight or if you're listening on YouTube, just start talking. Just start talking to people about this. Start posting stuff. Do stuff on Twitter. Do stuff on Facebook. Post stories. Start conversations with people. Ask, hey, did you hear this business about mass arrest coming or whatever? What's that about? And they're like, what? And you're like, yeah, I heard, blah, blah, blah. And then they're thinking about it. Because it's not like it's not happening. But then we get people talking about it without having to wait for ABC News to break in and tell us. Because that's not going to happen. So that's our job right now. Get out there and talk about the arrest and talk about UFO studies. UFO videos, crazy UFO videos, are an awesome tool. If you post them, you can say, you know what, I don't know if this is real or not, but that's crazy shit. What do you think? And then people are like, wow, that's crazy. They watch it, and then they're thinking, wow, is it possible? And then enough of them go, wow, I've been hearing a lot about this lately. Is there something to it? And then they look into it, and suddenly they find out, oh, wow, there's something to it. What are they saying? Are they saying anything? Oh, we find out what they're saying. Oh, we need to stop messing with nuclear weapons and nuclear technology. And what? Love each other? Man, space hippies, dude. And they are. And they're on to something. So that's our job. Get as many people thinking about these things happening, and we're going to see them happen. We're going to see them happen regardless. But you can help it happen sooner. So anybody out there actually been practicing this or is thinking about these arrests, these coming arrests, or wants to talk about UFOs, anything they've seen, call in 858-956-2147. Okay, so show of the week. I need a sounder for that, eh? Tolek. Have you heard the name Tolek? Because I heard of this guy back last fall when he came out and was doing interviews with Alfred Lamont Weber, and he did an interview with Lisa M. Harrison. I didn't get around to watching any of that stuff, but he was apparently some anonymous person named Tolek who claimed to be an Earth representative of the Andromeda Council, which is obviously a galactic body. And he did an interview with Lisa M. Harrison in Australia, and I just listened to it this week, and so that is my pick for show of the week. It's not really a show, it's more or less a radio show just like this one, but instead you've got a very well-spoken person. I mean, we talk about Bill Brockbrader on the show, and God bless Bill Brockbrader for coming out and saying the things that he's saying, and giving us, for planting the seeds of the concepts of, being able to see into the future and using that to your advantage. And imagine what if, a shadow government had that capability, because his testimony is they did. Furthermore, he assisted them with understanding that technology and what it meant for them, and they didn't like it. But Bill, as awesome as he is, doesn't compare to Tolek, because Tolek, aside from having a completely different source for his information is extraterrestrial, but he's just so eloquent. Lisa asks him a question, he's on it, and just speaks completely extemporaneously, and, like, hey, yeah, I've got the complete answer for that. She'll ask him something crazy off the wall, and he'll actually have a written quote already prepared that his Andromedan representative or contactee had already knew that Lisa was going to ask and had written out a response for it. So, anyway, a very interesting interview, and the fact that it happened back in November, the stuff that he says was going to happen, and it all fits in with what's happening now, and what we can expect going forward. And he does a stellar job of explaining how our solar system has moved into an area of space that is highly charged in a way that we've never experienced because of where it is in the cosmos right now. And that continued exposure to that charged area of space is going to change the physical density of all matter in the area, including our solar system, our planet, our bodies, ourselves. And I say ourselves because you are not your body. But what you are is going to be changed. If you're going to stay in this sector of the universe anyway, maybe you'll elect to move on. So that is my show of the week. Go watch the Tolick interview with Lisa Harrison. All the stuff that we've talked about tonight you can find on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/extraordinaryyear, all one word together, Extraordinary Year. Go check us out. Go like us over there. Everything that we talk about gets posted on the page prior to the show. You can go check it out as we talk about it. And while you're over there, hit that little like button, would you? Okay, so sightings. No, I have not had any sightings lately. Not lately. And Steve Becko's site has not released one since the 20th. So I haven't been spending time going around on YouTube checking out the latest ones. I know they've been happening. But what I want people to be aware of is that the Galactics say they're going to step up sightings over America. That was something that was released today. So I want all you listeners out there to keep your eyes to the sky. Now, I miss my old Firebird. I had a Firebird. I bought it new back in 1999, and one of the awesome things about having a Firebird is T-tops. And I saw stuff that nobody else saw. And, I'm not talking about UFOs. I'm just talking about, birds doing cool stuff or, planes, helicopters, whatever, anything that was going on above you that you don't see because there's a car roof. You don't even think about it. It's just blocked out. I had that visible, and I would see stuff and just be like, I wasn't seeing that. Kind of cool. I miss it because you would see things. Sometimes you would see interesting things. So I just want everybody to keep your eyes on the sky because that's where you're going to see them if you're going to see them anywhere. People get that roof blinderness. People step outside. They're looking along the horizon. They're looking at the ground, at the trees, at the cars, at anything but the sky. Apparently, they're looking at anything but the sky because nobody is bitching about chemtrails. And oh my God, if you're still not onto the whole chemtrail thing, do you go outside at all? And I just don't understand people who are still in denial about chemtrails. What they need to be doing is asking why. But apparently they don't care because, there's a new American Idol on, or Jersey Shore, or I need to go play Black Ops with some dude on the other side of the planet. Anyway, I should not judge. Sorry for judging, but I just think that we have priorities as a civilization that don't match the reality, and I wish they did. So I'm asking you to take the Galactics at their word. Say they're going to step up sightings. I want you to be out there and have your camera ready, have that video ready, or just your iPhone, take a picture or something. It's easy. Just take a second every time you get outside. Look up when you walk outside. Every time. You might be surprised what you see. Has anybody else seen anything? Call me, 858-956-2147. Okay. Coming changes to the show. And at this rate, if we don't get some call-ins, we might have to make it a short episode. I'm cruising right along on all the stuff I want to talk to you guys about tonight. But anyway, there are going to be some coming changes to the show. We're grateful. I'm grateful for our live listeners because in short time the show's been on the air, we've made a lot of changes that they've had to endure. And, we made it a shorter time, and then we made it an earlier start. So, those who have been along for the ride, I thank them. The coming changes are designed to actually make the show more enjoyable for them. I'm going to raise the audio quality. We're going to not use a cell phone. I know it's Blog Talk Radio and everybody uses cell phones, but, I'm an audio guy, and there's no excuse for me to not be using a microphone. And I think you guys deserve that. So I'm going to set that up, and hopefully we'll start helping people who are new to these ideas as well. Not just the audio quality thing, but change in the show. We're going to start presenting guests. We're going to start helping the people who are new to these ideas. The people this program is designed to help by bringing on guests who are specialized in communicating and educating the concepts that we talk about on this show. These people can do it in a way that will help everyday people understand the incredible things that are about to start happening. We're currently in contact with several people and hope to announce guests in the coming shows. So, anybody hear about a big boom in Hawaii this week? Apparently, at least 2 media outlets covered it. Like 9 a.m. one morning, there's just a huge boom, explosion-like sound. Everybody came out of their houses, and there was no smoke, nothing in the air. One of the media reports was because a local photojournalist in the area, was affected by it, heard it and grabbed his camera and went outside trying to find the source. And, went around asking everybody who's outside, what was that? Nobody knew. And nobody knows yet. Nope, they still don't know. No one knows what it was. But something happened. There's been a lot of quake activity all across the earth. There's been an uptick. It kind of fluctuates in and out, but the overall earthquake activity has been just through the roof since last year, but it keeps getting more, it just seems to continually increase. And there's been a lot of that, and, there are all the reports of weird, strange sounds across the planet, including recorded in a Major League Baseball game down in Tampa. Anyway, if you're interested in checking out quake activity or being on top of stuff that's happening, and as far as earthquakes go, I recommend checking out a YouTuber by the name of Dutch Sense. I've been following him since last summer, and he had just started at the beginning of 2011 to be a YouTuber, and has just blown up to being a very valuable source for probably hundreds of thousands of people, I'm guessing, at the very least. He had a lot of stuff happen last year that led to him actually having an interview with Carrie Cassidy and Project Camelot. So, it might be something to take seriously if they're doing an interview, or at least pay attention. So I recommend subscribing to Dutch's channel. He's like a YouTube blogger based out of St. Louis. And he does a lot of stuff, not just on earthquakes, but he also tracks weather modification technology. He'll see things in radar and predict that because of it, it's evidence of manipulation of the atmosphere by, basically the government or the shadow government, and, people in charge who deny everything that they're doing. He sees the potential for weather manipulation, and then a couple days later, what he says might happen actually happens quite a bit. So, I'd say his track record is proving him not to be just a nut job. And so we're talking chemtrails and HAARP technology, HAARP, HAARP technology. Strongly suggest you go check that out if it sounds like gibberish. If you don't know what HAARP is, then you're still clueless as to what the whole chemtrail thing is. You should really check that out. Okay, so as long as we're talking about YouTube, I want to give a shout-out to our people out there on YouTube. I want to thank all our loyal listeners out there. View counts have really impressed me on the show, and I think it's just proof that people are really hungry for information, just in the same way that I am. The thing is, I've spent so long putting this picture together that now it does me no good to just sit here and watch it happen. I need to talk about it, and I need to talk about it with people and spark conversations. And you know what? Not everybody's going to agree with me, and people are entitled to that, and they're free to do that. And they're also welcome to try and talk to me about it. And I will do my best to explain to anyone who wants to talk why I believe things are the way they are. And so to that end, I invite YouTubers to listen in live and call in live. I know you guys came to play this video because of what we're talking about, which means that you're looking for information where maybe you're somebody who's already on top of it. But this show is for people who are hungry to talk about these things and to understand what's going on and to come together to dream a new world. So, speaking of dreams, I think next week we should have a segment on dreams. So be thinking about that. As I think as we come to major events, time is actually not linear. And in the state of being that we are when we're asleep, we actually have access to multiple layers of time and multiple probabilities. We can move forward, we can move backward, we can move sideways in time. And a lot of people have prophetic dreams about the time that something's happening. So I want to talk about dreams. I want people to call in if they've had any weird dreams lately. You know what? Maybe it doesn't seem like it might be related to what's going on, but symbols are the language of dreams. And, a symbol of one thing might be a symbol for something else, too. And so I'm just curious what people are dreaming out there. If you had a crazy dream lately, call in next week. Tell me. That's your homework. Go eat something weird before you go to bed and have some crazy dream. Call me. Tell me about your dream. Or maybe when you go to bed over this next week, talk to your higher self and be like, you know what, higher self, I want to have some crazy dreams. And then go have your crazy dreams and tell me, because I love that stuff. Yeah, because I think we can learn a lot from dreams. And most of the times it's something personal for that person. But sometimes they're dreams that are meant as, to inform somebody of something that's coming. They can't help. It's such a powerful experience for everybody involved that when they access that space, they can't help but see it. So, I think that's going to start to happen, and I'm going to look for evidence of that. So hopefully you guys will go into Dream World and bring me back some interesting stuff. Okay. So we're going to get ready to go here. You can reach me this week if you're interested in a story idea. I'll take your suggestions. If you got, maybe there's some insider out there who's like, what's this new dude talking about? You know what? Get in contact with me. Let's talk. Or, anybody out there who wants to connect with Extraordinary Year, just go to facebook.com/Extraordinary Year. Like us out there. Spread the word. You find something interesting, share it. Because that's, now's the time to really start getting people thinking about what could be happening and what could happen because of it. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Tim Bravo. We have links to, all our shows on Facebook, on Blog Talk, and on YouTube. I recommend going to YouTube just because, you get the archive experience, but I'm actually optimizing the audio before I upload it to YouTube. Blog Talk will archive this, but it's not as good. We need some compression. The cell phone thing ain't cutting it. the audio snob in me is like, we have got to do better than this, and I promise you listeners we're going to do better. So let's get ready to go here. Tomorrow, as you go about your daily life, I want you to remember we're all poised to see a completely different world. It's coming. Remember, there are technologies that have been kept from you that will change this world. These are things we know about. We could have had these things already, but there have been these people who didn't want us to have them. They wanted them for themselves, and so they have kept us thinking that we had to slave our lives away just to scrape and get by, and meanwhile we kick everything we make up to them. So imagine what the world will be like when we don't have them keeping us down. This is going to happen very soon. It's begun. I want you to remember we have friends in the sky above us. Remember, they've always been there. Remember that they want to see us grow up as a civilization. They want to join with us as family among the stars. And remember, this is about to happen. We build this world together, guys. In every moment, with every thought, with every strong emotion. Once we know this, we know we can build a better world together. We know that we need to put our fear away. If we find ourselves afraid about anything, we need to shut it down, because there's no point. Whether it's the economy or war or disease, put it away. Focus on something else. Focus on hope. Focus on your imagination of the best world that this could be for everyone, without limit. You can imagine anything. You know, get in touch with that kid inside of you. Man, when you were 8 and 9, you had these crazy ideas of things that were possible, and people told you were crazy, or, you know, you have a fanciful imagination. You know what? Get in touch with that kid and start imagining stuff. Again, good stuff. There's nothing that we can't do if enough people put belief and energy behind it. There's nothing we can't do. Ultimately, this is an imaginary world. It only seems real, and it's an illusion that we're all painting together. So paint it the way you want to see it. I'm going to do the same thing. If we all do it together, this world will get better. There's nothing that can hurt you. You are bigger than the one life that you're in right now, and so there's nothing to be afraid of. So that's it for us on this 295th day until December 21st, 2012. Ear to the ground. Hold on tight, kids. It's an extraordinary year. Namaste.